A warm hand on your entrance, don't you think? I'm glad the rain's kept away. I experienced one of the wettest cracks ever a couple of years ago. But that's a totally different story anyway. Oh, careful. It's a liar. Do you like the shirt?
No.
Someone's got to like it.
No.
I decided against wearing a suit tonight. Firstly, because I didn't want to be mistaken for John Bishop. Although admittedly he's funny. And secondly, I thought I was going to get hot. I thought I was going to sweat more than a 70s DJ when he hears the words Operation U-Tree. For those of you who don't know me, I'm one of the local cricketers. And I know a lot of people think that cricket and cricketers in general are pretty boring. Well, yeah. It's not true. It's not true at all. We're always after maidens. We're always after scoring. And we're always happy to show people our googlies.
Don't tell me you want to get your leg over.
That's more of a football thing, isn't it? Getting the first leg over. Yeah, anyway. But I've got a couple of the fellow cricketers here tonight, and I was hoping they could bail me out. But obviously not, so I'm stumped.
Shocker!
I actually had a terrible dream about cricket last night. I dreamt we were playing out there on the rec, and suddenly there was this huge flash of lightning, and 3 of us were killed instantly. But we went straight to hell. We were at the gates of hell, and the devil walks up to us, and he says, "What have you got to say for yourselves?" Because he talks like that, apparently. And the 2 other guys, who will remain nameless, said, no, there's something wrong here. They said, we're totally innocent. We don't drink, we don't gamble, we never cheat on our wives, we go to church every Sunday. He said, what are we doing here? And the devil looks at me, and I had to agree. I said, these are nice guys. I said, they don't deserve to be here. Whereas I, perhaps should be. I drink, I gamble, I cheated on my wife. And the devil says, stop there. He says, you sound like my kind of bloke. He said, let's burn these 2 and go for a pint. Now, people laughed when I said I was going to do stand-up. I tell you what, they're not laughing anymore, are they? I've always been funny. Not in that way, of course, but ever since I was at school. In fact, I was in a class of my own at school.
Oh, you did.
I think it was the flatulence that did it. Anyway, it's good to see everyone enjoying a drink, even at George's prices. That's good. I don't know if any of you noticed the young lady behind the bar earlier that was chopping the lemons. She had this great big knife. She was chopping away. I said to her, you want to be careful. I said, you could end up with a nasty gash. Too late, she said. And then she turned around, I recognised her, and I remembered the Halloween party. It all came back to me. Mind you, it wasn't as bad as the Christmas party. I still remember poor old Santa sitting out on his sleigh outside, shouting out, piston broke, to the cars driving by. I think his sleigh had broken down as well. Now, I don't do a lot of stand-up, as some of you might have gathered by now, but I do the odd gig here and there, and recently I did a comedy fair, it was called, and there was all these side shows, and there was a bucking bronco competition, and obviously the person who won it was the one who could stay on the longest on this big mechanical beast. And amazingly, the winner was a Catholic priest. So I was a little bit curious, so I thought I'd find out what his secret was. Turned out one of his choir boys was an epileptic. Shocking, I know, it's terrible. And I hope a few of you will stay for the music as well, because obviously this started as a music festival. It's expanded. We've now got comedy as well. What sorts? But I've been lucky enough to play a couple of gigs as a musician here over the last few years. And there was one year, very unfortunate, I was case of mistaken identity as I went into the Gents. While I was in there, some guy was convinced I was shaking Stevens. I wasn't, I was just shaking my own. Mind you, it could have been worse. He could have thought I was the guy in the picture in the pub, Little Titch. Because it was a cold night. But Little Titch, he was a great performer, the old music hall performer. And there's been a few famous faces in this pub over the years. It's a little known fact, but Van Gogh used to drink in here. People used to recognise him. They used to say, "Do you want a drink?" He used to say, "No thanks, I've got one here." Anyway, with that, I'm going to hand you back to the real comedians. Thank you very much for listening to me. Cheers. Good night.